I think running a company, starting a company, you have to have certain attributes or learn certain attributes. Maybe I repeat some of them, which is, of course, technical rigor. So you have to be really, well, you have to know the details of how to start things. You have to be transparent. You have to be respectful. You have to be persistent, not to give up too early. You have to be optimistic. You have to be a good communicator. If you keep things only for yourself, it won't work out. You have to prepare also. I think we mentioned this in the context of innovation and patents, that you need to know your field, your competitors, where the innovation really lies. But it's also knowing your competition, where you can actually, well, create an unfair competitive advantage. But this goes back to the technical rigor, kind of really knowing your field as well. But yeah, I mean, you have to have certain attributes or learn these attributes in order to build successful companies. I would say a no-go is really bossing people around, um, telling them what they have to do no matter what, whether it makes sense or does not make sense. Kind of not taking into consideration advice of experts and people, either consultants, outside parties, stakeholders in the company, or even team members, simply ignoring everything and doing your thing. I think there should always be an atmosphere of being able to admit failures without immediately having consequences. Of course, if there are 10 failures in a row, that has to have consequences as well. But allowing also failures, because if you don't push the boundaries, if you're only in the comfort zone, then yeah, everything will go smooth, but you're not making progress. So there cannot be an atmosphere of fear. There has to be an atmosphere of transparency, while giving trust, trusting people, empowering people. And I think this is a good foundation of building a good company. Really good advice was really prepare yourself well, because in some instances you have one chance to make a good impression. If you present your project to stakeholders, investors, business partners, you want to have the best preparation for that and not basically be arm waving about certain details of what you're presenting there or feeling insecure. I think that goes for itself, that you are properly prepared for what you want to convince people to do. And people will realize quickly that, I mean, whether you are on top of things or whether you're not on top of things. So, and you can only be on top of things and have confidence in presenting your case if you have prepared yourself well, if you know where you're positioned, where your competitors are, what the challenges are. Well, if I had a magic wand, I'd sometimes wish that certain investors would be a little bit more courageous in embarking on a project and not waiting until it's almost too late. Because, I mean, I've seen projects that didn't realize itself because I think the project itself and the team was okay, but no investor made that step. And this is too bad. So sometimes it needs a little bit more courage within investors to act more quickly. I've never worked as an investor in many projects, so I think they have their learnings and have burned their fingers maybe once or twice and have taken a little bit of a cautious attitude. So it's understandable. In terms of building companies and from the ground, I think it would be desirable that actually people who start companies and are becoming successful, that they actually get the support of administrators, of let's say local governments, of tax authorities, to make it as easy as possible for them to, well, navigate through all these complex issues of building a company. So to reduce the administrative burden as much as possible. And I think I mentioned before, Switzerland in this respect is already very advanced and in a very good position. But we are talking about maybe companies here on a global basis. So sometimes there are unnecessary obstacles, practical obstacles that are in the way of starting companies. And if this could be fostered a little bit more by reducing the administrative burden in certain countries, this would be highly desired. True innovation actually also entails implementing it and not having bold ideas and not doing it. You can always dream a lot about things that are great and innovative, but implementing it and making it reality for the benefit of the society, of patients, I think this is the true innovation. And this is a privilege, I believe, that is really in the hands of entrepreneurs and biotech entrepreneurs to have that chance. So I would say don't let opportunities go, but seize the opportunities if they occur. I've never regretted my switch from academia into industry, even if there are compromises with investors, with stakeholders. I had fantastic teams. So, of course, the team is super essential in bringing things to success. But I can only advocate to everyone, just do it. Follow your dreams, follow your idea. If you think you have an innovation, don't let it slip and let it just pass along. And then if there's a value, of course, it's a high likelihood that you will make a lot of people happy, including yourself and your family. Because if things really work, then there is some return on investment, be it time or sacrifice of whatever private life or really investments. If a solution works, it will be a very rewarding exercise.